I'm so sorry. Okay.
Stage right or house?
Where's Jason? Stage right. If it survives.
I'm going to sit next to...
Hello! Whoa! Oh my God, there's a creepy old man touching me.
Okay, show of hands. Am I creepy or not creepy? Creepy?
Let's close!
All right, never mind.
It's like 6th grade all over again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Comedy Better When I Have a Few. We'll be starting in just a moment as soon as the giant man with a top hat finds his way back to the stage. You know, giant man with the top hat.
Working on it!
You're the only one, Babadook. Go.
Give me my tequila and shut up.
They only had Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio.
I will talk to the police!
I'm just stating a fact, which is why my hand is empty and I have nothing to put in it. No, thank you very much. That's okay. It's the right color, but it's not quite.
Wait a second. You have an Asian, right?
Yeah, where is the bottle the Asian has?
Yeah, the Asian has like 4 bottles of wine he's walking around with.
Call the agent! How about that? Let's just throw it out there!
Okay, the Chinese guy. What? He is. Oh, by the way, this little story my dad told me.
That does sound pretty bad. No, you have an Asian, like you
this is my dad. Okay, here's the story. Once there were 2 Chinese people.
Oh my God.
Now look how many there are. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Anyway, okay. In deference to the hotel and out of respect for the hotel, the concept of having like sloshy bottles of wine that weren't purchased at the hotel that I've been pouring on myself and then throwing up in the lobby, apparently that's a bad thing. So I'm only allowed to throw up if I'm holding a bottle of wine that was purchased from the hotel. That made sense, right?
I mean, 50-50. Not bad.
Right.
Not bad for 20:03 on a Friday. What is 20? Time doesn't go to 20!
It's 8.
How drunk am I?
Dude,
You're not drunk, you're European.
Same thing! I hope it's not the end right.
By the way, if you're wondering,
if I were a concher, yada dee da da dee da dee da dee da dum, all day long, I'd biddy bong. If I were an alkaline.
Snip, snip! Only until DragonCon starts.
Shut up.
if you're wondering if this is the panel, this is the panel.
Yeah, you're here. You found it. It's here.
If you're disappointed that this is the panel, welcome to the club.
What is on your forehead?
Oh, what? Wait, what?
We promised we wouldn't do that anymore.
Don't.
Oh, well.
We promised.
I don't feel good about this.
So if you can't hear it, if you haven't been to these, there's a few promises being thrown up onto stage. That is because a few years ago, I received a top hat. A top hat that was full of pennies. And it was funny at the time. Then I got home. You have to understand, this was 1 year after I was, I wouldn't say arrested, but put into the back of a police car for putting money into a bank. I'm going to repeat that for clarity's sake. I was sat in the back of a squad car because I made a deposit. For you see, sometimes after a con chair might look a little tired, a little worn down. Bags under his eyes, going to the bank, wearing ripped sweatpants, a stained t-shirt, so I looked like a meth addict, depositing $15,000 in cash.
Small bills with a lot of change, by the way.
Not only small bills with a lot of change, but a top hat full of pennies, which I started dumping into the Coinstar machine. Clink, 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 thud. Because you geniuses filled the top of a top hat with pennies, and underneath, rolls of pennies, all rolled up, jamming And the story should have ended there. But the next year, I got a cowboy boot full of nickels.
You're welcome.
That's what's with the cowboy boots.
Honestly, at this point, I'm so scared of you two, I've blocked that memory. I'm more worried about what I'm going to call for the rest of my life the dime bag that I'm sure you have planned. And thank you so much for all you do. One of your turns.
Whoa, one of our turns.
Mr. Bears, by the way, who are we? Who are you?
I mean, does anybody really know the answer to the question?
Yes.
Who are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is quotation marks right here.
Yes. I've gotten
Also known
fat
as
and
Mince
ugly.
Kitten.
Hello, I am the Boozy Badger.
See the guy with the yellow eyes back there and the sword?
Yes.
I would not kick him out of my bed for eating crackers, would you? I said that in the microphone, didn't I?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think it's...
Why?
It doesn't erase it when you take the microphone away from your mouth.
Yes, it does. He's
There's
got
no
short attention
rewind.
spans.
Do you think these are all goldfish furries?
Could somebody get him some wine? He seems rather thirsty.
That's the problem. I don't have anything to consume except for this and fish fucking this stuff, you know.
Remember, he likes Riesling, and apparently since he runs a convention, depression.
What about hot and cold sake?
Hey, Kage, could you tell me, now,
What?
I just want to make sure the proper way to drink sake is warm with a pickle in it, right?
Celery.
Excuse me, just a minute. Boozy, keep these people occupied while I murder somebody, would you?
You murder me, you're drinking.
Everybody look away.
Everybody watch, this is fun.
God damn
There's
it.
a drop down on for
You're
affinity for
supposed to
this.
kill him, not arouse him.
Use your safe word.
What's the
Not
difference?
mutually exclusive.
By the way, I love it. And it was Fur Reality.
Anthro for reality.
Anthro for Reality. We were doing this panel, this exact panel, and the time came to get on stage, and somebody walked up to me and whispered in my ear, Alkali has made a friend. And Alkali and his friend are spending some time together. He is running late to the panel. And I said, okay. So Kage and I took the stage and we stalled for time, and somebody finally poked their head in the panel room and said, Alkali's coming. And I said, wonderful, but when's he getting to the panel?
Oh my God, he's blushing. Look. Now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look already.
I don't know if you know.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, you are so fucking right.
I don't know if you've noticed this or not. There is a camera over there from Silver Gatomon. Hi, Silver. Silver records a bunch of the panels we do and puts
All
them
of
on
them.
YouTube for people to watch later.
And
very
then-
good. You should watch them. About a week after that panel went up on Silver's YouTube channel, I got a telegram message from my dear friend to my right. You must understand, we send each other weird fucking telegram messages all the time. Like, to the point that my wife looks at me and is like, are you talking to your boyfriend? Like, he's not my boyfriend. And then Xander apparently looks at him because in the middle of the night he'll be in bed and his phone will go off and he'll look at it and he'll go, and Xander's like, is your boyfriend sending you messages? I get a message from him and he's like, that friend I had from For Reality. I go, yeah. He goes, he saw the video, yeah? And he asked if you knew what we were doing. And I said, oh, and he says, and then he asked if you were into it. And I sent him back a message that said, ask him if I can watch next time. He sent back, I've asked him. 4 days later, I sent him a random telegram message out of nowhere. They just said, so what did he say? And he's like, he never responded. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, does Boozy know what we were doing in the room? He wants to know if he can watch. And we're deleting our telegram and leaving the fandom.
Do you know my Telegram account name?
No.
Good.
So here's a fun topic change. Ladies and gentlemen, Papa!
Hey, I have
Coyote, ladies and
spent
gentlemen.
months trying to find one of these weird room parties, like years. I got invited to one, right? I got invited to an underwear party, and I'm like, I don't really wear underwear. And the guy's like, it's cool, it's kind of optional, just most people will be in their underwear, so be cool with that. I'm like, no, that's fine. So I go into the party, right? I'm having drinks, I'm talking to people, I'm looking around, and no one's in their underwear. And the host walked over and said, hey man, could you take that bottle of whiskey and get the fuck out? And I looked at him and I said, well, certainly. However, he goes, it's nothing against you. It's just people are walking in and seeing you, and they're getting a little uptight about getting in their underwear. And I said, why? And they said, because furries have a dad fetish. But
Damn it!
But you're not like a daddy. You're like their dad.
Pepper ran away.
One of the guys from FurQuest, that'd be the worst Sierra game ever.
FurQuest GSV.
One of the guys from FurCast.
Do you want to see what I look like when I go to the underwear party?
Yes.
This is not a bit. This is literally exactly how I look when I go to the underwear party.
Go on.
I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Yes, I am at the underwear party.
Excuse me, is anybody else getting aroused here? Show of hands.
Keep those hands right down, because that's the whole goal. No one should be. Look, instead of leaving space for Jesus, you reduce the space for Jesus. And you can hang out like this all night. Well, I gotta.
Shut up.
This is very delicately held together. I gotta go.
No, it is not. That is very blatantly held together. Sit down. Shut up.
So one of the guys from FurCast at MFF walked up to me, and I joked with him. I said, when I first talked to you, you had told me that you have a knack for accidentally stumbling into orgies at furry conventions.
What?
Yeah.
Did you hear that too?
I didn't do it.
I looked at him and I said, it has been 3 years. I have yet to find one. I don't want to participate. I just want to observe.
He wants to referee.
He said, don't worry, man. We are at MFF. I can find you an orgy. I never heard from him again. Recently, they called me in the middle of their show to inform me what had happened. Apparently, moments after he had spoken to me, he had been invited to a gathering
Gargoyles?
of nude folks.
The Juggalos?
And the way he described it was, when they invited me, I sent them a message that read, I just need the room number. Oh, hey, can I invite Boozy? He really wants to see what one of these is like. And he said that the message started coming back immediately, like the 3 bubbles popped up, and then they went away. And then they came back, and then they went away. And then they came back again, and then they went, he said it went like this for 5 minutes. And then my phone dinged, I looked at it, it's just like, never mind. So I imagine that these people spent like 5 minutes debating, do we let him come?
That is a question for the end of the orgy.
That is a question for the
They
ancient.
won't even let me at the start of the orgy. How am I getting to the end?
All right, we'd like you to sign this paper. Would you like cum or no cum? It's an 18-plus panel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the fact that it is an 18-plus panel,
Do you like your condoms paper or plastic? That's all I'm saying.
German fingers, that's what these are.
why do I have a feeling Pepper's that guy that shows up to an orgy and goes, wait a moment while I boil my lucky condom?
Pepper shows up to the orgy and pulls out the guitar and provides a soft backing track.
So we're going to go to an orgy, except our positions will be like DJ and referee.
Foul!
No. Get that out of here. We can't. You got to clean up your play out there, son.
Okay.
Too many players on the field. 5 yards to the bottoms.
Illegal penetration, tight end,
Backfield in
he's
motion.
down.
Somebody swim. There's a first guy guy in the room, he switches it up. Offsides! Throw the flag on the play.
Look, your dick has to be on this side of that line before...
Well, that's difficult for you, isn't it?
There's a hockey joke for everybody. Thank you.
So, when I first joined the fandom, and we're talking about, I don't know, in the 30s, I don't even know how old I am now.
We're about to hit the 30s again.
Shit.
Oh, Kage, you're old. So when I first joined the fandom, I started making friends, as furries do. And myself and Xander had decided for the first time to room together at a convention. And somebody who knew us apparently wasn't too thrilled about that and started posting messages on the communal message board at said convention. And one night, we're sitting in our room. You know, like that actual physical message board conventions used to have?
Okay, let's up. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the... I was at a con recently, very short aside, I promise, where a full-grown adult was like, hey, where's the board? And I'm like, luckily I am just old enough that I'm like, oh, you mean the cork board that we all pin our fuck notes to? That doesn't, sir, this is not the Colonial Williamsburg.
By the way, this is why we no longer have a cork board at cons because of him.
No. The reason we no longer have a cork board is because you creative... Yeah, it became the cockboard. Actually, yes.
Yes.
You creative artists are assholes because what started happening is, and everyone got in on it, somebody drew the beginning of a dick. And they signed it as an artist.
I have a question.
And then the next person drew the next section of dick.
I have a question. When you say beginning, were they working balls up or tip down?
Balls up.
Okay.
It balls up because the tip is a very big decision. You got to consult many people. Where are we going? Are we going cone classic so no one's mad?
Incidentally, if any of my colleagues are watching this, if there's anything left of my professional reputation, I'm terribly sorry.
There's not.
Same.
Okay, if
you would
any
like to
of
know
my
more about-
coworkers see this on YouTube, do you know what it's going to do to my reputation?
They're going to start drawing balls up on Post-it notes in your cubicle?
Yes, again.
I mean, honestly, at this point, it might improve it.
You'll be sitting there like, is this a number 3? And it'll just say balls up and you'll know.
So,
Getting it? Visualize? Can you visualize the apple? Can you visualize the 3? How a 3 looks like a set of balls. Going, just making sure you're all okay.
thank you, Pepper.
After they're all drawn, line them up like a xylophone.
You are a teacher, aren't you?
Well, on this particular corkboard, with your particular style of art, what happened by the time that we found out what was happening is basically a game of Snake had happened on the corkboard, and the dick was just going around the actual messages, but on multiple index cards, all signed by different artists, and they were just drawing shift, and some of them were super detailed, and some of them were just like railroad track dick, it didn't matter. And finally, it got to the end, and I, as the con chairman, said, somebody needs to go take it down, and my director of operations goes, well, I put an end to it, literally, and he made the end of the dick and signed his name. In my house, in a binder that is called Memories, is close to 75 index cards with different parts of a human penis drawn on it. All signed by different artists in this fandom. And when I'm dead, they are going into a charity auction. I'm going to laugh at you guys from hell.
Can I just say I'm very proud of you that it was a human penis.
I was proud of them, too.
It could have got so many different ways.
It's only a human penis because it started as a human penis. And then, no, I take it back. There's a knot like 3 feet in. There is. So one of them just like, not.
Oh, so it was a weasel.
Don't reveal my secrets. It's a surprise.
A weasel penis looks like someone's smuggling potatoes inside of a snake.
Why did I agree to be on this?
18 plus
Why
panel?
did I agree?
Sam, why did you agree to it? Because I'm sorry. The visualization of a bag of potatoes inside of a snake was worth the price of admission.
Is anybody else getting aroused by that image showing?
The snake is.
I'm just by the potatoes.
Tell me more about the potatoes, Pepper.
Please tell me about that. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me about that.
I just love the fact that there are two groups of people in the world who have a detailed knowledge of animal dick, and it is zoologists and furries.
Yo, we were at my second panel I've ever been to in my entire furry career at this young gentleman to my right's convention in 2014.
Fine.
And, yeah, well...
Choose your words carefully, boy.
A convention that you were at the time seen widely as the figurehead of, known as... Is this a test? Am I failing it? What am I supposed to say? Help me! So it was called like I wasn't called like Animal Anatomy 18 plus because that'd be too fucking obvious and I would have been less surprised. But it was like artist or something blah blah 18 plus, and we were still at the age where like, hey, what if we went into a sex store? Would our mom find out? And we're like 25. That's still the level of innocence we're at, where we're like, I want to look at a condom and then run away giggling. What if we bought it? What would happen? So anyway, we go, and most of the panel is the panelists will be like, so this animal, and then 7,000 crowd, not questions, them wanting to not even correct the panelist, but add further detail. Actually, when a pig mates with another pig, you see their penis forms up.
Thank you, Pepper.
Don't talk. Raise your hand if you know how that sentence ended.
Thank you.
You need to understand something about panels. See, we don't actually look at the panel submitted. That's programming director's problem. I know! Because last year, somebody submitted a panel called, if I remember correctly, Physics 101. You know what that panel was?
Beer pong.
Beer pong for an hour and a half in the basement.
Didn't I fuck up the trigonometry panel 2 years ago?
That was at a different convention, and yes, you did.
A lawyer I know was coming to the convention to help me out. And he wanted to show up. He was going to do lawyer horror stories. He does a bunch of anime conventions. He normally shows up at this one, actually. Very, very good guy. He's not here this year. He left the firm he was with and started his own firm, so he's been very busy. But he sent me, the first year he was here, he sent me a text message that just read, I'm reviewing the programming, and why is there a math panel at 11:30 at night? And I said, what? And I pulled up the schedule. I went, he's right. There's a trigonometry panel at 11:30 at night. And I sent back a message. I'm like, they're furries, man. They're a little fucked up. It really could be a trigonometry panel. Or it could be horrible. I just don't know.
I'm sorry, what was the name of the panel again?
It was like trigonometry. Advanced trigonometry.
Oh, it's coyotes. It's a coyote panel.
How do you know?
I mentioned it on stage to a packed room. I said, I don't know what it is, but why do you all have an advanced trigonometry panel at 11:30 at night? And the look on everyone's face who knew what it was in the room was, because people started pulling up their schedules and going, well, we're going to the advanced trigonometry panel now. We want to see what it's like. I got yanked off stage by somebody who's no longer with the guy. He looked at me and said, you are such an asshole. I said, what? He goes, that is beer pong. He's like, we named it advanced trigonometry because we figured nobody would go to advanced trigonometry and we could just have a panel where we play beer pong, and now people showed up.
I'm sorry. People showed up? Do you know the number?
I do not.
The panel room... What's up?
24.
That is correct. The panel room seats 30 people. 24 people showed up. The person running the panel realized he was going to get into trouble and started the panel by pulling out a whiteboard and started doing advanced trigonometry, which he then handed to me, and that is also in the binder that I keep in my house of furry memories.
So, just a reminder, you invite me into your house and I piss all over everything and leave.
Just like your cat.
So I have a gimmick for
Is
cons
that what
now.
happened to my sofa bed?
I wasn't gonna tell you, but I got invited to his house. I went out for donuts with Grandma Kage. And they took me out to Duck Donuts. Your mother is precious. I love your mother to death.
You didn't grow up with her.
We are sitting in Duck Donuts, and she's sitting there, and just this this sweet little old lady eating a giant donut. And she looks at him and goes, Sam, you need to take me to the liquor store. I need drinks for my friends. And he looks at her and goes, Mom, we've talked about this. You can't buy anything unless it's wine anymore. And she goes, but I need some of the Everclear. Well, when my friends come over, Mom, no, I'm not taking you to the liquor store to buy Everclear. And she's quiet. She goes, I bet I could walk to the liquor store myself.
So if you ever see an octogenarian crawling up a frozen hill to the liquor store, you just go, Conway!
They're laughing like you're making this up.
Oh, they're not making it up. I have known his mother for quite some time now. She is a wonderful person and also his biggest critic and his biggest supporter until he has to do the pre-Anthrocon speech to the staff.
Yo, this is no longer this panel. This is now the roast of Samuel.
Yeah, when does this begin here?
So there's Sam standing at the front of the room in front of all the Anthrocon staff, 130 people that showed up to the pre-con meeting. A huge room. And this man is doing nothing but talking about a dog that shit on the floor in his dealer's den. Nonsense. He's describing the feces. Just so you know, watery with a hint of corn. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for that, panel.
That's how I like my mac and cheese.
I am happy to say that Anthrocon has employed my legal services on some occasions.
Not that we have had need for such. We have simply done it for purposes of...
I don't know if you understand this, but Anthrocon will send out reprimand letters to people who are problem children during the convention.
Don't talk
How many
about my
times
mother
have
that
you-
way.
How many times have you sent one to Sam
I
himself?
get them in my email inbox with the words, please review this. I review it, and then I send an email back that says, I have revised it to remove the portion about the knife. You can't threaten people, Dr. Conway.
Okay, it is not a threat. It is not a threat if I do not use the specific words, I will kill you.
We have covered it. That is not the case.
No, it is. I read this on Reddit. I know all about the law.
Hold on. What words did you use?
I will kill you, maybe.
No. I will... Well, okay, I didn't use the word kill.
I happen to own a very large knife.
Okay.
And you have a heart.
Excuse me. I own a large knife and I will fuck you up. These are two true statements that are not related to one another.
Neither one of them can be put in a letter signed on Anthrocon's letterhead.
Too late.
Does an
Can you
ox,
fix this for me?
does a comma help?
The comma totally helps.
Comma, and I will fuck you up.
Yes.
Look, if it's good enough for the Second Amendment.
The Oxford comma.
You know, it's funny you should mention that. Yesterday, yesterday now. On Wednesday, before I left for this convention, just to give you an idea of my legal practice, because people sit here and they're like, oh, we can't do... I have like a multi-million-dollar case suing the largest utility provider in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, as well as an entire fucking city.
Yes,
going
he's
on
right
now.
Is it Pittsburgh? Allentown?
No, it's not. However, there's a lot of Amish there.
The Wilkes-Barre?
There's a lot of Amish there.
Excuse me. Wilkes-Barre, please. Wilkes-Barre.
Anyways, we had a hearing, and during the hearing, it's a multi-million-dollar matter. It's very, very important. I'm standing there. They bring up a rebuttal witness at the end of the hearing. We're looking at a contract on it, and it was Condition 1 and Condition 2, right? These were the two times that something had to happen. The guy goes, well, it says this and this. When it's this other thing, I said, okay. And their attorney sat down, I stood up and said, now looking at this, it says blank X and Y, right? Yeah. But couldn't that mean X comma, and why? Couldn't those be two separate conditions without the modifier, only one of them bearing it? Well, yeah. Okay, I sat back down. The opposing counsel stood up and said, don't you believe that if they meant that there would be a comma? And I stood up and said, objection, Your Honor. I would ask that the court take judicial notice of the Oxford comma debate. And the judge said, the court will take such notice off the record. And we went off the record and everyone broke down laughing.
This is like not even a joke question. Genuinely, how many credit hours did you think you spent in law school talking about any kind of comma?
Believe it or not, probably 6
Hours?
Yeah. You don't understand. Like, when courts interpret contracts, we try to read in intent, and we actually have something in law called the $1 million comma. And it is if you put punctuation that means something in the wrong place in a contract and you change the nature of it, you have put your client at risk. No shit, there was a contract recently in a federal court where they said if they had meant that, there would be a comma there. There is no comma there, so we fined for the plaintiff in the amount of $10 million.
Also, every single bit of the Constitution.
Okay. For those of you who do not know what we're talking about, it is an old and hackneyed example, but it is relevant right now. Consider a phrase where we can insert a comma or remove a comma. We can say, let's eat, comma, grandma, or let's eat grandma. That is the difference between an important comma and a $10 million comma.
A better way to put that is the hookers, comma, JFK, comma, and Stalin. Okay, each that is 3 separate things, right?
Yes.
Hookers, JFK, Stalin.
Stalin.
The hookers, comma, JFK, and Stalin.
I just remember what that panel was about. It was about why evolutionarily humans had a larger penis to body ratio than most other mammals.
And then the comma came along.
I love how your brain works. We're talking about grammatical constructs. Humans had larger dicks than most animals proportionally.
Comma, cool.
Then the horses came up and said, in your face, coyote, literally.
Look, by volume.
Finish that statement, boy.
Wait a second, are we measuring dicks by volume now? Like how many fluid ounces can you fit in the penis?
No, it's the opposite. It's put your penis in this beaker. How much water did it move?
You know what? You've definitely done that, Kage.
All right, so how do we...
Anyway.
The experiment to deny the whole thing.
How much water did you displace? You know that tsunami back in 2004?
Don't put ice in it, by the way. It will affect the results.
All right,
10
so
ways
now
to thrill your man.
it is every comedian's duty to bring everything together. How can we combine punctuation and the male sexual organ? That's easy. Penis in the colon. Guys, this is a charity panel. Don't forget the hat is coming out of the audience. We're going to throw it at your face. Sweet.
Actually, if you're only slightly aroused during anal sex, do you have a semicolon?
Sorry, I was too busy thinking about your ampersand. No, shit, that's not the thing. What's the star asshole thing on my keyboard? Well, I'm going to shove my ampersand in your asterisk. I don't know grammar! Shift 7, fuckers.
Okay, dude, the joke
You
falls
got it.
flat.
Look,
What shift 7 is?
Your turn.
hey, how many people in here actually know what the pound sign is? Okay, how many people?
I know so much about the pound sign!
How do do you know so much about the pound sign?
You know that it's called the pound sign because it was originally people writing LB, but so fast in the ledgers that the LB just got more and more fucked up. So eventually, it was cursive too, so the bottom was kind of connected. So it was like a bump and a whack, like it's cursive, so it's just two loops. So like, okay, just so everyone knows what the fuck we're doing here, we're gonna add an extra cross across the L and the B, LB, cross, L, and then eventually just became the Ectothorpe that we have today.
Really?
I am enchanted by the fact that you know that.
Oh, I know so much about the pound sign.
Why do you know so much about the pound
You do
sign?
a lot of weed, don't you? Like you just get high and go on Wikipedia.
Eventually you watch it on YouTube, but you watch a 30-minute documentary on what the pound sign is.
All right, so yours is the pound sign. Let's go over here. Kage, weirdest documentary you've ever watched?
Weirdest documentary I've ever watched?
You watched it. What was it?
Finished.
Sitting next to you.
Oh, shit.
Not that one. Fire Festival was damn good. Fire Festival. Okay, just so you know, the Fire Festival is a documentary on the actual Fire Festival, the Island Getaway Festival that scammed millions of dollars out of people at convention.
Also, the documentary is made by the same company that fired the festival.
No!
One of them, there's two.
Really?
There's two.
Oh, shit.
Here's what you need. Okay, we watched the good one. Now, I wish you guys had been there because here we are, two convention organizers watching this documentary going like...
Did he just offer a blowjob for the water?
No! Oh, no! Okay, the point where the chairman called up his co-chair and said, dude, we need you to go down to the government office and suck dick. Has Drago ever done that?
So next topic, we're going to talk about...
Is the Fire Festival documentary the, like, con chair equivalent of that video they showed me when I worked at Burger King? Like, don't burn this bitch down.
Yes.
Look, I'm just gonna be honest though. The part where they called up that guy and they're like, "We need you to go down there and suck someone's dick to get the water released." Like, and imagine with a lot of furry conventions, that's like a great cost-saving measure. Like, we're a little short on the AV budget, so I'm gonna need you to blow a guy for the water.
Look, in the perfect communist utopia future, we need something to serve as currency.
Blowjobs are.
Blowjobs are work. I want to
Pepper, you know what? For the third time this week, blowjobs are not currency!
I wish to retain the full value of my labor.
Hey!
Help the old man out here, would you?
I got the
He's right. Blowjobs.
Don't ever get old. You won't like it.
Did you guys
Blowjobs
like-
are not currency. They're a form of barter.
I'm sorry, what was that?
All right, I'll bite. There are four.
We will accept this payment, cash,
Well, if you bite, I'm not giving you as much.
We will accept as form of payment on. I was doing my taxes recently, and they're like, "Did you give any blowjobs? And did you receive any blowjobs?"
Arizona, ladies and gentlemen.
I got a 1099 back with like 6 blowjobs, and I'm like, "Can I deduct some of these beaches?"
You know what the sad thing is? Attorneys, it used to be attorneys would accept like things in trade for legal services. For example, my father got a guy off of a federal charge years and years ago. The guy's an HVAC mechanic. So my dad's kind of sitting there going, "Well, you can't afford my invoice, so here's what we do. For as long as you're alive, you're my air conditioner repairman."
Okay.
Every year, my father has to report the value of those services and things he receives in trade for legal work on his taxes. You have to report the value of that. All right? So here's the question. If you receive a blowjob in
Moving right
return for
along. I
goods and
notice we have
services,
10
how do
minutes,
you
20
value
seconds
it?
left. We're not going to continue this line of reasoning.
$69!
Did you grow up in fucking Mayberry or wherever else A.D.
Yes,
Griffith
he
was the
did. He
sheriff?
grew up in Mayberry, Kentucky.
In what weird fantasy fucking past are you in that like, I can't afford my legal services, I guess I'll just fix your air conditioner.
My first car was payment for a custody case.
Hey, that's like $1,300 job right
No,
there.
I have a client right now who owes me over $10,000. I'm in the process of trying to buy the house I'm in, and I know it needs new electrical wiring, and I've already told him, when I buy the house, here is how you're working off your bill.
Boozy, you must see the question you're approaching now, right?
Oh,
How much porn would someone have to draw you to receive representation?
We're going to need
Yes,
a
how much?
whiteboard in here.
How many songs would I have to write you for you to get me out of jail, Boozy?
How much did he charge to do your will? 2 dogs fucking.
Talk some porn to your lawyer.
Luckily, he went to a panel on Anthrocon about human penises, which are much bigger than that.
It's like, what did you get paid for this case, Booze? He says to his actual family, and he just pulls out of his thing a penis drawn on 600 index cards over the course.
And his 10-year-old daughter says, again.
Daddy, you can't eat the dicks.
Well, actually, dear.
Not until you're 18, sweetie.
We can't pay our heating bill for these dicks. We have to burn the dicks again for
Burn
once.
the dicks.
We can't cook breakfast on this burning pile of dicks, Father.
Okay, I want to point
Yes,
out,
you can.
Alkali told me
never
this
had
was going to be
breakfast
highbrow humor. I want to point out that he gave me that promise that this was not going to degenerate into a bunch of dick jokes. Alkali gave me his word.
I wasn't here for that. You didn't tell me that clause. Was there a comma in that clause? Look, this is my best
Bunch
improv
of dick,
night of my
comment
life.
jokes.
I will provide, jokes. All right. Every contract I ever write now will be hereby, say.
Any questions at this point? Ah, yes, in the front row.
have you seen true facts about the duck?
Sorry?
Know what facts you're gonna say.
Because he went to a panel, a very specific panel.
As a young man, my education was supplemented by a trade show known as Anthrocon.
I'll do this one fast. I do not tell this story because it is not funny, because the audience was not amused. But me and my partner were. I got invited to an anime con 2 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Now, non-furries. There were a few furries there, and they were wonderful. Actually, Kage was there with me. We were told that we should run the furry meet and greet. And we asked, oh, cool, where's the location? And the entire board of directors went, just wherever.
I was here for this.
Yeah.
So we held a furry meet and greet in a random lobby. Just some random, and I'm not talking about like a lobby over here, I'm talking about a convention center lobby with people on the 3rd floor looking down as he has his head in his hands saying, no, it's not just about the dicks.
Okay, now wait
And
a
I'm
minute.
sitting next to him saying it's kind of about the dicks.
Alkali, don't forget, the original location. You know how at the end of this corridor there's like the bend where it turns to the right? That little section where the drinking fountain is, that was our original spot. Like 20 square feet, that was our spot. So we said, dude, we're just gonna fucking take this spot here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we, for reference here, I'm not going to say where it was, but can you give them the estimated attendee number?
The estimated attendee number of this particular convention, and please correct me if I'm wrong, was about 30,000 people.
80,000.
Help me. One person in this room is about to give me a thumbs up. Everyone look at me. Person who knows, give me a thumbs up for 80,000. Yeah, okay. All right, now we got it. So yeah, it was closer to 80,000. My bad. So
It's an average size anime con.
Oh yeah, it's gigantic. So we have this panel, we're being idiots, we're being loud, and all of a sudden somebody walks up to me and whispers in my ear, John St. John is watching you.
That was my doing. John St. John is the gentleman that did the voice of Duke Nukem. And I went to Mr. St. John and said, excuse me, Mr. St. John, I've heard that you enjoy tequila. Do you see the giant Jew over there? Go talk to him.
So we're in the stairwell smoking weed with Jerry.
Actually, you're very, very close.
That dude, come on, we would never do that. stairwell. So this happens. We are having a wonderful time. Honestly, there's a lot of joking going on up here. A lot of this is just embellishment, multiple things. In the end, what it came down to is we had a wonderful time. We did this panel. We were having it basically was a blast. But this also meant that a few other people saw me, and I was invited onto a panel. A panel that I knew exactly what it was because we do it at FurCon. I got invited to Password. They asked me to play Password. Now, I don't have a lot of knowledge in a lot of different topics, but because of this particular fandom, I do have a weird amount of knowledge in animal genitalia. And the topic was at the zoo. And as I looked at the card, 6 animals were listed on there, and I noticed there was one thing in common with all of them. I knew a sexual fact about every single one of those animals.
Can you try to remember what animals?
Oh, I remember almost all of them. So here we go. Ready? Yep. They said, all right, this is a gentleman. He is one of our guests here. He's going to be delivering the clues, and go. So I said, corkscrew dick.
Ducks.
Rapes things.
Or pigs.
Ducks.
Other one that rapes things in the ocean.
Sea otter.
Dolphins.
Dolphin has a corkscrew dick?
No.
Ducks too.
Orgasms for 30 minutes. It is not boozy.
Do you
Well,
notice?
unfortunately, the person sitting across from me also had a lot of knowledge in animal genitalia. So the panel went like this. We were a half an hour in. It's Password. People have been having fun. Some people got like 3, maybe a 4. And then here comes me and my partner who has corkscrew dick. That orgasms run 30 minutes. Pig. Rapes things in the ocean. Dolphin. And in 10 seconds, we got 6 animals. But it wasn't until the 5th animal that we realized no one was laughing. They are horrified at what they are seeing.
It's as if you were watching, the NPR show where they do the quiz and they do like an impossible, like, this Florida man, blah, 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 blah. And you just nailed every single, it's like,
Yes.
it's like dumpster on head.
I have worked for 25 years to change the public perception of furry fandom. Then Alkali was born.
Took me 5 minutes to fuck that up.
I think we've discovered Anthrocon's 2021 theme, though. Anthrocon 2021. It's kind of about the dick.
I feel like there's a furry sexual aspect life cycle where you go from being me as a child where I'm like, oh no, what if someone finds out that we like each other? So then you get to the like, oh, we have to make sure that our hobby is presentable. And now in 2020, it's we need to keep this shit as weird as possible to keep fucking Doritos from buying it.
All right, at this point, I need to give them a piece of furry history.
Please. Okay.
Anthrocon 1999.
Oh no.
Yes, Anthrocon 1999. My first year as
Show on your fingers your age
chairman.
at the time.
I was born then. I was
Notice everyone can do it on 2 hands or fewer.
Anthrocon 1999, I was doing the chairman, let's patrol, make sure everything is okay, make sure nobody's dying, etc., etc. I went into the art show, I went into that section of the art show, and I found my little tiny, dainty, dear, and sainted little old mother in that section of the art show. And I attempted to have her removed, and she would have none of it. And none of the security was willing to listen when I said, get this woman out of here. They all ran away.
She's gonna buy everything.
My mother's looking around, and I'm like, Ma, you can't be there. Oh, leave me alone. I want to look at the art. And she said, I swear to God, she said this. Why do they make the penises so small?
Tell me she was looking at Gideon art at the time.
No, she was looking at a Chance XL.
Here's the thing. My father has passed away. I never got a chance to ask him.
How do you have that conversation with him? Like, hey, Dad, yeah, how are you hung?
Now, did you ever meet my dad?
No, I did not, unfortunately.
I'd still be having that conversation, because he was from Alabama. He'd be like, well, you know, what do you call, your, mother and what do you call, me,
He's like a southern Johnny Depp.
yeah.
Now, I need you to know something. So I met his father once, and we were sitting there at the breakfast table, and he did this impression in front of his father. And this is the exact response. And right before I left the house, don't talk like that.
I want to point out, this man killed my
I
dad.
did not.
Yes, you did.
I mean, it was one bottle of tequila.
And they're going to say, look, it was one parent.
It was one parent. The other one is fine. 50-50, asshole.
Okay, I
Okay,
say
you
it
know-
jokingly. It was, okay, the night before my father died, Alkali was a guest at our house, and my dad was still answering the question when he passed away, so we never actually heard the response.
It's fun because you learn he's from like South Carolina, but they're like kind of Philly-ish.
North.
Oh, the worst one. I'm sorry. It's
It's the second worst of the Carolinas, I know.
So, but you're saying that your lineage has gone from Alabama to a Carolina. So really, you are moving forward. Like
No, that's my fault.
The butt.
Okay, I am the son of an Alabama gentleman and a Philadelphia biker. That's my heritage.
mom makes more sense the more
You've met my mom.
take me to the liquor store. This is just wholesome. I got to send your mom a package. That sounded.
And that's a good place to end, because
I don't want my mom touching your package.
Everybody, Pepper Coyote!
Thank you, Pepper Coyote.
Uncle Cocky! The man who brought this one together.
Thank you guys so much.
And I'm Boozy. You have a wonderful evening, and thank you for being here.
Was this a panel? It was? I thought we were just dicking around.
Are you trying to make us get off the stage?
Yeah, no, we have to.
Yeah, I noticed the chairman's here saying, get the hell off the
We
stage.
have to reset. We gotta get this off.
Going.
Oh, there's more.
Oh,
Table, calm down.
Dragor has to get off. Is that what you're saying? Who would like to help Dragor get off? Show of hands.
Here, get off.
And by the way, I don't know. These were not on. Any of these things not on.
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.